if you look at the basics and things like stance, grip, bridge, things like that, you'll see all the top players do things a little bit different. And that's because they each have different body weights and bone density, if you want to get real technical, and ligament tightness, and each one has a different balance and point, and which decides things like their stance and the positioning of their feet. The key issue there is doing whatever it takes to be extremely balanced at the table, so no part of your body moves while you're stroking through the shot. And if your body moves, it doesn't really matter how straight your stroke is, because I don't know if you ever noticed, but your stroke arm is attached to your body, so if your body moves, it's going to throw your stroke offline. And this is a common issue with amateur players. Again, if you go back and look at the pros, the best players in the world, they all have one thing in common, although all their basics are different. Their strokes are straight. You cannot be at that level of pool without a straight stroke. And it's just a matter of keeping a stroke. So a typical but high-level amateur player will work on a stroke a lot and get it straight, and they can't figure out why they're missing balls or missing position. And it usually, most often, it comes down to body movement during the shot, which is throwing the stroke offline. Developing a straight stroke can take years and years and years, and that's with concentrated effort on that one thing. But it's all just a bunch of wasted time if your body moves during the shot. It's going to throw it off every time. As far as aiming, most players, even like newbies, they're aiming in the right place. They're just not hitting the cue ball where they're aiming it, and that's because of body movement, because of a bad stroke or whatever. I mean, so it's really, you can say the stroke is a basic in pool, but I don't think it is, because I look at the basics as something you can teach somebody just by talking to them, or just, showing them how to make a bridge, and that's it. All they have to do is, okay, I learned how to make a bridge, and get down and do it. But no matter how well you teach somebody a stroke, it's still going to take them years to develop it. So it cracks me up how some instructors teach the proper pull stance when there really isn't one. The proper stance for you or anybody watching this video is the one that keeps your body balanced. And actually, and we can get real technical and debate this forever, but most top shelf players are putting some weight on that bridge hand through their body weight on the table to keep that bridge from moving. So that's helping to balance the whole body, so the cue doesn't, go offline. The stroke doesn't go offline. But then again, if your body's moving, you can keep your bridge planted on the table, and the body movement will knock the back of the cue offline, so your cue's not hitting the cue ball on the intended line that you already set up and looked at and aimed. And and people try to compensate for this dysfunctional issue by developing aiming systems and all this other crap. They're actually aiming to miss, but what they're really doing is compensating for a bad stroke. In this video, you'll see me run two more racks, and somewhere in there you'll see me hit a dead stroke, and I can just tell just from my whole mannerisms, the way I'm walking around the table, And I found Disque, and me and Shirley went out, kept on playing all night long. Just because I knew that I was finally hitting the zone. Felt good, and came home, glad that I capitalized on that. See if you can spot it here. I went from, playing okay to just playing almost unbeatable. I hit dead stroke. It was a process of finding my body positioning on the shot, and my stroke automatically straightening out. And it's interesting, at one point I get down 3 times on the same shot, and each time I get down I have a longer bridge, and that's a telltale sign for me, watching myself play, that I'm feeling good and I'm in stroke. I decided to capitalize on that and took it out on the town for a few hours. And just had a lot of fun. So it was an interesting process for me to watch and feel, and just let it live. You know what I mean? But what's interesting is where I can see where it all started just by analyzing my own footage. It's like right there, and I can't tell you at this point where exactly it is, but you might be able to see it. I can tell you that the position of your feet has a lot to do with how your body is balanced. Bent over and down on a pull shot. Now, if you really watch my videos carefully, I have a different stance on pretty much every shot. But when it really starts mattering, I do a very unorthodox stance that a road player came into town many years ago named Tony Majane. He positions his feet really wide, to where both of his legs are straight, but the position of his feet are really wide. And I tried it and just started messing around with it and came up with my own version of that. And the reason I stuck with that is because it eliminated my body movement. It planted me down on a shot. It was impossible to jump up on a shot. And it kind of locked me into a zone. And you'll see me here. I'll put a still shot in it right here. Where both my feet are bent like that, it made it easier to keep a straight stroke without moving my body. And you'll see me doing that stance when I have like a long shot and it really calls for a straight stroke. There's no other option. You're going to miss the ball if your stroke's not straight. During those shots, you'll see me position my feet like that. I've actually used it on the break a few times, but it didn't work to my expectations. So I only do it sometimes, and you'll see that stance coming up in this video. But anyway, I was feeling good, and my body was working with my stroke, and everything works out. So my biggest recommendation is not to copy me and not to go by the book, and even the snooker book. A lot of guys use the snooker stance. Go by your book. Write your own book here, and the correct stance for you is the one that keeps your stroke straight. It balances your body and keeps your body from moving and interfering with that straight stroke. just experiment with it, work with it, and that's the best I can offer. Everybody watching this has a different body structure. So that's it. Let's go watch the video.
Oh man, oh no. Get that 14 out of there. Here you go. Whoop, whoop.
Eric, what you doing?
Slid it out of my hand. At least it came out of my hand.
At least you didn't hit John with it.
Wipe it off. Get all that floor hair off of it. Nope, that one's in. Let me put my pen together.
Stop me. Can you tell me your name? I'm sorry. Tell me your name. Okay, thank you.
Good.
Hi.
That's good. Now you can cut that 4 in.
I have to hit the 15 first. You want to see it?
Might be in trouble here.
Oh, perfect. That's 10, right? 10?
Seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all growing life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain.
Q-Tech, I started playing with it a lot lately, but I have to customize it to be an actual plain cue to my liking. It has potential to get to the place where I like my pull cues, but yeah, I broke with it for, I don't know, years, and that's all I did with it, because it was 21 ounces, and I just figured, well, it's straight, you know. So let's just break with it. It's good, it's cute. It's too fat for me. It's 13 millimeters. Shit. And when I'm used to closer to 12 millimeters. So I gotta turn it, and as you can see, that fiberglass, the white fiberglass on there, is very, very thin sprayed on layer of fiberglass. It's super, super thin. And you take a Scotch-Brite to gear down the wood. So you're supposed to use cube cleaner to clean those shafts, not sandpaper. Only John does this shit, but I don't care. I like wood. But the fiberglass does have a purpose. It keeps it from it keeps it straight, and it keeps it from getting nicked up. So as long as it stays straight, I'll take that fiberglass right off and get the tip where I like it. I'm trying to convert it to a plain kit. And if it's gonna work, it doesn't matter if it does. Go back to regular. We'll see.
Way back a year ago,